we go through boot camp, the same as every Marine. Every
Mhm.
Marine goes through the same boot camp. There's no reservist boot camp, admin boot camp. It's all the same. And so after 3 months of that, you go to your school. And so mine was mortar school, School of Infantry, they called it. It was in Camp Pendleton. And you just basically, for like, I think it was 8 weeks or so, just learn how to work the mortars. At the base level, you learn how to be an ammo man, a gunner, and a gunner. And I was pretty good at it. I don't know why, but I was good at it. And so I became a gunner like right off the bat.
Mhm.
And then after that, they shipped me to my reserve unit, which was down in Corpus Christi, Texas. I always just had the aptitude for it, and I was always a gunner from day one, and all the way through.
So at least it's a job you liked.
Yeah, I loved it, and my dad was a mortarman.
Mm.
So when I joined on September 11th, when they asked me, "So what do you want to be? You can be anything you want. Just pick on the list." And I was like, "I want to be a mortarman."
Mm.
And they're like, "No, no, no, no. You can be air traffic control. You can be this. You can be that. I want to be a mortarman. I want to be infantry. I want to go to Iraq and kill people." That was my being a young idiot. Well, he's like, "Okay, we'll sign you up for the infantry." And then year later, I was going, "Oh, what am I doing?" I
Did I make the right choice?
was like in a hole of sand in the middle of Iraq, filling sandbags and going, "I could have been air traffic control. Would have been great."
Spending all your time out there with the E-tool, filling up Hescos and sandbags.
Yeah, that's what we did for a long time.
Make your base walls that way.
Everyone, they say, "Oh, you mortarman, you just sit back at the base and shoot mortars off and party all the time." It's, dude, we filled every sandbag in this building.
It's not going to fill itself.
No,
Like, when we were out there, we actually had the locals do that for us, but not when we first got out there.
slave labor, you mean?
Yes. But well, we also would have like the locals be our barbers and stuff, and we had a little black market on base. And what we came to find out is that the guy's cutting your hair is the same guy that's going home and telling his buddies where every fucking location is.
That's right.
And yet we still keep bringing them on the base like nothing's wrong. And the military was not learning.
We had it was like half a mile from us was the base where we had to train. This is in Iraq. We had the base where we trained the Iraqi National Guard or
Mhm.
whatever. We would send out fake intel saying that that base was where we were staying. So for the first like few weeks, the enemy was bombing that base, the their own Iraqi guys, until intel got back to them that no, we're at the other base, and then they started shooting them at us. But it was just mortars and RPGs like every single day.
And you said you were in OIF2 around what, 4?
04 and 05.
Okay.
We got there in summertime. I remember that vividly. Hotter than shit out there. But yeah, I got there in 04 and we left in 05. It was about 8 months, I think we were there.
It's not too bad.
No, not like the Army. The Army does like 13 months or something.
We did 12 when
12
I was
months?
in. And then you still had the potential to get stop lost and everything.
Right. Yeah.
So, but I think mine was maybe just a hair over a year. It's either a hair over or a hair under, but it was a good distance, a good time.
Yeah. So I was telling you, I was a used car salesman, like 19 years old or something. When the towers went down, I came into work that day and everybody's huddled around a TV. And I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" I saw one tower burning and then I got to witness the second plane hit. And that was right about the time that they said, "This is a probable terroristic attack." And I'm a third generation Marine, but I never wanted to follow in my dad's footsteps. I kind of wanted to break that cycle of being in the military. Because my dad, he was a great dad and everything, but he kind of always told me like, "Hey, don't just go join the military just because you want a college degree or because you want the clout." Say, I was a Marine Corps. He said, "Don't do it for that. Do it if you really mean it, if you want it, if you want to serve your country, because you're going to get less in the Marine Corps than you get from any other branch. The only thing is the Marine Corps will teach you how to survive war, probably better than anybody else." So when I saw those towers go down, I knew. I was like, I got to go join. And I went that day, September 11th. And when I showed up at the recruiter, there was a line out the door of young guys my age and younger too. I was about 19. There was like 17, 16-year-olds there trying to join. The recruiter came out and he said, "Hey guys, go home, come back tomorrow. It's going to take us a few days to process all of you." They had a good few months right after that. And it brought I mean, it wasn't just guys of serving age. It was, it seemed like everyone around at that time, everyone became more patriotic overnight. It gave everyone like a pride. Oh, we're American. You know, we have a culture that we stand by and we love our country. And that was, to me, I remember feeling that, man, I wish we had that now. You know, I don't feel like we have it anymore.
I mean, it's sad that it took a war to get to that point of bringing the whole country
It
together.
took a tragedy. Yeah.
Boy, it does make your heart swell a little bit being able to drive down, seeing all the American flags and everything, and seeing how well our country did come together and unite for one cause. Now, whether it was a good cause or not,
That's a whole nother
it's still being determined.
Yeah. My dad was a Vietnam vet, and when he came back from the war, he was getting spit on, and people were protesting about, just calling the service members awful things. And this was before, I mean, we have some help now when guys get back, but this was before any of that. And when he got back and got out, it was like, who cares you were in the Marine Corps? Who cares? Everybody was zero support. I couldn't imagine.
No, and that's why a lot of Vietnam veterans were so fucked up coming home. They come home, they have nothing, they have no support. There wasn't nearly as many organizations that there are today to help people back then.
Right.
Let alone being a part of a war that the country itself didn't even agree with in the first place.
And there was no YouTube, no social media. Now guys can at least get online and go, "Hey, I'm feeling this. Where can I get help?" And help does pop up, but there's still a lot of guys that they don't even know where to go. There's a lot of veterans right now that are my age that the ones who have survived coming back, not survived the war, but survived civilian life. There's a lot of them are in prison. A lot of them are off themselves. And I think it's a big problem right now. I just want someone to just ask me like, "Hey, what do you do? Or where do you go?" Off for help. And it doesn't have to be necessarily combat veterans. It can be just being in the military for 4 years, especially in the fleet on active duty. It changes who you are inside. Your expectation of people changes because you're under an umbrella of discipline and everything is organized and you do everything with a certain protocol. You're told what to do all the time. Feelings don't matter so much. And once you become part of that culture, they kick you out in the civilian world and everything is loosey goosey. You have no direction in life. And all that just leads to like crazy anxiety. Well, for some guys, it's crazy anxiety. For other guys, it's crazy depression. They don't want to get out of bed every day. Guys turn to alcohol. A lot of guys turn to any kind of drug you can think of. Some guys turn to going to the gym for 4 hours a day and destroying their bodies. And every veteran I've ever met has some sort of issue. It doesn't matter what they did in the moment. They have some sort of issue. And I don't think the government, the VA, or the military does enough to make sure that these guys can reintegrate back into society.
Well, and think about it. For people like me and you, we grew up in the military household. So we had a basic understanding of what we were getting ourselves into and still stupid enough to pursue it.
Mm-hmm.
But think about for the civilians that have no clue, that are so blind and naive coming into the military, that's a whole new world adjustment. Not only just survive in the military, but now you got to survive deployment and war.
Yeah.
That's a whole new thing. And then they're going to be like, okay, now we're kicking you out, deal with the civilian life and make your own way through the world.
Yeah. And it would be easier if the world was a little more structured and had rules. But like I said earlier, the world is loosey goosey. People just kind of do. Our country is so great and we have more freedoms than anybody else in the world. I mean, we are literally living in the best time in world history. For no matter who you are, you're living in the best time, in the best place, America. It's a great country. And these warriors come back from the military and they're kicked back into that world and it's culture shock. They literally go into shock. It's like I don't want to say PTSD right off the bat, but it's more like just a culture shock of
Mhm.
having to adjust back into the greatest life you could possibly have, you know?
Well, and the sad part is it's trying to adjust and go through that cultural shock into a country that kind of really doesn't care about the war anymore.
Yeah.
You know, and once the war kicked off, like we were saying, it was so patriotic, it was so united. 8, 9 years later, no one gives a fuck.
No.
You might see the little yellow support your troops stupid bumper sticker that was $1.50 at Walmart in the back of someone's car, but they probably forgot about it or got it when the car was sold to them.
Yeah, and I mean it's really it's a small percentage of people that were in the military, right? And me and you and guys like us, we probably, if if you're smart, you surround yourself with other veterans. A lot of guys, they get out, and I'm guilty of this in the beginning too. I didn't want to be around veterans.
Mhm.
I wanted to be around civilians. I couldn't wait to get back into the real world.
Nothing to do with the military for a little bit. You
And
just need that break.
yeah, but that was a big mistake because and this is just me, but going back in the civilian world, when I got a regular job, found a wife, got married, moved into a place where there were no veterans, none of my friends were veterans. I started to feel really alone,
Mhm.
like totally alone. No one knew anything I had got. It was like I was in a different country, is what it felt like. I just put it off as, oh, you know what? This is just how it is. Suck it up, tough it out. And I did that for a lot of years. But as I got older and started getting wiser and thinking more about everything I had been through, those symptoms that they talk about, the anxiety, the depression, it just started getting worse and worse and worse. And I feel like I didn't even have it as bad as a lot of guys. But now, man, I'm in my 40s, and I realize that what I have is still bad. You know, I still go through a lot of thoughts, and I have a lot of issues that I really need to work on. And I started thinking, man, where can I go? I had no clue.
Mhm.
I had been out of the system for so long. All of my friends, we kind of quit talking over the years, just talk like once or twice a year or whatever. Oh, I started to look for help, and, and I found it. And there's so much help out there. There really is. And guys just don't know it. And guys are too quick to just give up and throw their life away because they don't feel like they can easily get the help, or they're just afraid to ask for it because of pride and everything. Once I started to just reach out to people and start take advantage of a lot of the free things out there that's done by people who really do love us and want to help us, life just got a lot better. You know?
Yeah. And it's really hard because when you get out of the military, well, while you're in, you're used to having SOPs, manuals, and all these things that tell you what to do, where to be, how tightly your socks should be fucking rolled up.
Yeah.
You get out and none of that exists. And if it does exist, show me a civilian that'll actually follow those SOPs and rule books, because they don't. And I think that's where a lot of our problem is we get out and there's no structure of what to do, where to go, how to get help. There's no handbook.
That's right.
And you either give up or you happen to maybe find it.
Hmm. There's a good reason why suicide rate, divorce rate, incarceration rate, self-harming rates, depression, anxiety rates in the veteran community, all those things, we're like one of the top highest rates of all those people. There's a good reason for it, and not all of them are combat veterans.
Mm.
I mean, they can just be an admin guy who stayed in America the whole time and never went anywhere. I think a lot of it is just the structure of the military, getting used to that, seeing how well it all works, and how it's an oiled machine usually, but it's an oiled machine. And then you get into the real world, into the great country that we live in, and everything is so simple and easy. It's culture shock for us. But guys just need to understand that, guys and girls, they just need to understand that, hey, there is resources out there. They wouldn't believe it if they just dug a little
Mhm.
bit, you know. Every day I wake up and I'm just like, I hope I can tell another veteran, like, hey, come see me over at Sunny Creek Ranch, or hey, there's these online classes that you can take about reintegration into society, and there's church groups that help with it, and there's anonymous people like Alcohol Anonymous, but for veterans, and there's just so many resources.
I mean, there are a lot of resources, and I think a lot of it's hard to weed through certain things. Definitely, some organizations, some places cater to a specific niche or whatnot, whether it's PTSD, depression, or even just female. Um,
Mhm.
but a lot of it does take a lot of self looking for it. You have to do the work yourself to get to that point, or find a buddy that knows about the kind of stuff that can push you and urge you into that.
Mhm.
Because the guy we interviewed not too long ago, he said that a lot of his anxiety just came from getting someone to breathe down your neck and to do things properly. He had a big anxiety because if he did something wrong, it made him look bad, it made his boss mad, and all this stuff. And it, as combat veterans, we don't necessarily consider that all the time. It's one of those little underlying things that it's there. We understand it, but we don't think about, you're not deployed. How do you have a lot of anxiety?
Yeah.
And for me, I know I'm trying to work better on that, trying to realize that it's, again, it's not just about the combat veterans. It's not just about people who stayed in garrison the whole time. I mean, it's about how we work together and how we move forward as both veterans and transition into that civilian life.
Yeah. And like being married and raising kids is that's a big one too, because the spouses and the kids, they don't understand. They've been raised here in the United States, kind of spoiled a little bit. I think everyone in the United States is spoiled. We don't know how good we have it. Dad or mom who's a veteran might be snappy at them and order them around, give them the knife hand, and they think, oh man, dad's an asshole, but they don't realize that's just who we are. It's literally engraved in us. I think the veterans need to back off of those things a little bit, try to be better. But I think the spouses and kids also need help, that they need the resources to understand their veteran father or spouse.
Well, think about it. I mean, as soon as a veteran gets home or soldier gets home and then they get out of the military, even just going from Iraq or Afghanistan back to garrison, you're just thrusted into your family life again.
Yeah.
Your family's moved on for a year without you, except for through emails, maybe video and phone calls nowadays. But that's a year that they moved on without you, found out how to live. And now you're coming back in the picture and you're nowhere near the same man you were when you left.
Yeah. And you come back with this mentality, I'm in charge and I'm gonna get my family back in order, and you love your family and you want to do a good job. Well, when you have that feeling in the military, you give it your all and you barrel in there like a bull in a china cabinet.
Hmm.
And but they've been going through, your family's been going through a lot too without you there.
Oh, yeah.
So we come in and we're like, hey, I'm gonna take control of my family. But then the family's like, whoa, hey, we have a system
We
going.
got this.
Yeah, we got this. Just chill for a while. And yeah, it's definitely a hard thing to get through.
But even at that, I think that's one of the harder parts is that, the wife, the spouse, and the children don't understand what happened in Iraq or Afghanistan while deployed. And then you come back, and as a lot of guys, we tried not to be emotional and let our walls down, especially when you're still in the military,
Right.
let alone when you transition out. So, I mean, I can't even imagine how rough that is for a spouse in that aspect.
Yeah, and we don't want to show weakness, right? Like we don't want to tell our parents and our siblings and our friends like, "Oh man, I have bad dreams every night." And I think we feel like whiners, and including to our other veterans. I mean, I've known guys since the war for 20 years that we've never had we talk all the time. We've never had a conversation about how we feel. But now that we're in our 40s, we're talking a lot more about it. And I'm like, man, I never knew you were having all the same problems I was having. And there's a real big stigma around talking about what we've been through, whether it's combat or not. I'm gonna quit saying that. I mean, I've been to lots of different group therapy sessions because I just like being around other veterans because they get it more. You know, when I say things, people nod their head and they're like, "Yeah, they are." I mean, it's almost like it changes your personality completely. And then I go to the small percentage of veterans who are combat veterans who have seen a lot of stuff like Navy SEALs and Green Berets and those guys were that was what they did almost the entire time. And those guys are even more so silent about everything that they did. I mean, you'll hardly ever find those guys that want to talk about any of that stuff. That's why I think surrounding yourself with other veterans and veterans supporting organizations, I think it's really important. Even if you're just there to help. Like, let's say you feel like, you know what, I don't have any problems. I'm tough and I went through all that, but I'm fine. Hey, go volunteer somewhere. Go help the other guys that need help. You'll figure out pretty quick. Wow, I do have some problems that I didn't know about. You know, it can only be good for you.
Yeah, and I think that rings true for people with like the 100% PNT is that once you get that 100%, you don't really necessarily have to work. At that point, you're going to find yourself bored. Try to dedicate yourself to some of these resources. Try to dedicate yourself to helping a fellow veteran or two, and it makes you feel really good. It makes you feel a lot better than what you would do by just sitting in a house and mulling over your combat days.
Right. Yeah. It's true that those four walls close in real quick. And when I got my 100%, I started. I was like, I don't got to deal with this piece of shit job I have anymore. You know, so I'm gonna quit. And I'm just gonna stay at home and relax for a while and figure out what I want to do with my life. And well, that while ended up being like a year and a half.
Hmm.
And I was just sitting in my house playing my guitar or hanging out with my dog or whatever, thinking about everything that bothered me all the time. And and it always ends up into doing something that's not good for you. Some guys it's alcohol, some guys it's drugs, some guys it's pornography. Everyone has their addiction,
Hmm.
right? But but almost every veteran I know has found themselves in a spot like that where they just sit by themselves, they don't talk to anybody, and they just go in a downward spiral. And sometimes just having a job, even when you don't like,
Hmm.
is the most the it's the best therapy you can get. Just not being somewhere where you can provide and work and focus your brain on other things is a big help as well. And if you can't get that, go find therapy, go volunteer, you know.
I think it's existing. It's the feeling of being able to exist, have a purpose. Because you take a veteran and just sit them on a couch and tell them to sit there, they can, but it, like you said, it's going to be a downward spiral. They have no purpose. They have no sense of self, and they're like you said, they're going to go to alcohol, video games, pornography, whatever. Give them a purpose, they'll thrive in almost any situation.
Mm. And they have the discipline to do it, probably,
Oh yeah.
right? Um, every veteran I've met that's 100%, that's in a good mental state, they have something. Like they like for me, I go to a place called Sunny Creek Ranch. It's in Montgomery County. It's run by veterans. It's for veterans and their families. She does first responders too. It's just a tight knit, uh, low profile group therapy session, but they also have private therapy sessions for people, and it's all free. You just show up, and it's equine assisted therapy. So she has horses there, and if you want to go pet the horses, you can. If you want to go for a walk in the woods, you can. It's just real low key and it's easy. And I actually put off going there when I was at my deepest mental state. I drove by there twice, thinking I'm going to go to this place, and I couldn't do it. Anxiety and nervousness. And so finally, I was like at the end of my rope. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go in. Fuck it. How could it hurt? Right. I walked in and I've been going twice a week ever since. I mean, it saved my life. And all the people there understood there were other veterans. I hadn't talked to other veterans in years. You know, I was married, I had a kid, I had a family, I had a big career at a big Fortune 500 company. And to me, that was I just went back to my pre military days and said, I'm going to start where I left off and I'm going to become this, what my opinion, what a man was. I wanted to do that. But my life had already changed in the military. So once I lost all that, I started going to therapy and getting help there at Sunny Creek, starting off. And it helped a lot, you know. And there's other ones around here that I didn't even know existed. There's Fob Razor, um, which is like it's a confidential group. It's online. You meet with them every month or every week, and you're just talking to other veterans about everyday problems. Nothing big and serious. It's just like, yeah, I don't want to leave the house, and and other guys talk you through it. You know, guys that have been through the same thing. There's the Marine Corps League for you Marines out there. Um, there's just a lot, and there's more than that. I'm sure that you know of a lot of them too.
Well, I mean, I know there's Camp Hope.
I've heard of them. Yeah.
There's another one. It racks my brain right now, but it's an online group. It's all about gaming. They got a Discord server and everything.
Oh, that's a good idea.
The Regiment, that's what it's called.
Oh.
It's online gaming. They do computer giveaways and stuff. So I mean, they're really great. And you know, you brought up Sunny Creek Ranch. I had the pleasure of working with them about 2 to 3 years ago, doing a video advertisement package for them. And you know, it's a great place. I've been there. I've seen their horses, got to interact with them. They got some wonderful horses. The owners are really nice people.
Yeah, yeah. Shannon is the one who runs it, and we also have. So she's there every session. There's twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. But they also have certified counselors, and this is all approved by the VA. So anything that happens there, you know, notes are taken, and they can and they put it in a confidential file, and it becomes part of your healthcare at the VA, right? So if I ever did need to tell her, hey, send my file to the VA, it's all in there. So the VA can see I've been doing the work. I've been doing the therapy. And I mean, it's gotten to the point now where I feel like I don't need therapy anymore, but that's because I've been going there. So when I stop going, after about a month or two, I'm like, oh man, I need to go back to Sunny Creek. I start feeling it. The anxiety comes back. The feeling of not fitting into society, it starts coming back, you know?
It's almost like a dopamine withdrawal.
It is, yeah. Like that became my addiction, right? So instead of it being booze or cannabis or anything else, it was I need to go pet some horses and be out in the quiet in the woods and surrounded by people who understand. And no one judges me, right? So I mean, if I cry one day during therapy, no one cares. I never hear about it again. It's not my family. Like everyone knows, like your family judges you, right? Well, it just doesn't happen there. Everything is that's just a place that I found that makes me feel like I'm at home around people who understand.
And I think that's where a lot of things change is that, you know, when you're around other veterans, they don't give a fuck about, like, they don't give a fuck about your emotions as far as like if you cry or if you're upset in a way. They do care about you as a person. And I think that's where the stigma of men having emotions and men crying because they're sad or they're just overwhelmed can get broken down. And like you were saying, when you're around other veterans, they understand what you've gone through. They may not have been there, but they have a good clue. They're the closest ones to have a clue. So they're not going to judge you as likely as like a civilian or your own family.
Right. And a lot of veterans, they do stay silent about things because of pride.
Mm-hmm.
And if you bring up something, they're going to start crying. So they just don't bring it up. They don't tell anybody. They don't talk about it. They just hold it on side. And the poor guys, I mean, they really suffer. And it's during these group sessions that I get to see all this come out, you know? And it's like, wow, I'm not alone. Like, I'm not a pussy.
I'm not the only fucked up one in this group.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everyone's fucked up in some way. Even in civilian world, everyone's fucked up in some way. Everyone's addicted to something. But because there's so much stigma around veterans, that's why the divorce rate's so high. And that's why the suicide rate is so high, is they just feel alone. And they're really not alone. There's a lot of people out there who are going through the same shit, same problem all the time. And there's just as many people who want to help veterans, but you don't see advertisement. You get on Facebook, you see advertisement for new car rims or new sound system for your house or whatever. You don't see these advertisements for, hey, veteran help, psychotherapy for this and that. Like, it's non-existent.
Well, the worst part is, though, even if you do see that kind of advertisement, you got to be wary in the first place because there's so many scams and shit out there.
Yep.
You go on to Facebook now, go into half the Facebook groups, even the most popular one. You have, 45,000 people in there, but half of them are AI bullshit.
Yeah, half of them are just bots.
And then you get people that are like, oh my God, I love this. I love this. No, it's fake. You could tell it's fake. Look at the fucking tag. Does it say US Army? No, it says,
Yeah.
but yet you're still going to wish that bitch a happy birthday.
Right. Yeah. I think that one of the things that helped me get through a lot of shit was just getting off of social altogether. I just don't bother. I don't, it's all fake. 90% of it's
It's toxic.
yeah. And the advertising drives me crazy. The, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, whatever. But like, if you're on one side, they're going to feed you stuff from the other side just to piss you off and get you active. So you start commenting on everything. That's what they want. Comments lead to revenue. So they try to get you involved however they can. And usually it's by pissing you off or getting under your skin using something that you're really, that's something that's really important to you. So it's all an algorithm, right?
Mm.
So first thing I recommend to people is, dude, get off the internet, you know, just try to focus on what you can immediately um, deal with and something you can change in your life, your close family, your friends, your own financials. Like, stay focused on that stuff and surround yourself with people who think like you, right? And for me, it's other veterans. And I don't know if that's because I was in the military or if it's because I was raised in a military way. I don't know, but I just get along a lot better with other veterans.
Well, when I got out, I wasn't paying attention to my financials, didn't really put much effort in my family like a lot of people don't. And then as I got older, I started realizing, hey, your credit score actually means something. It's nice to be able to have a bank account without negative numbers in it
Yeah.
or struggling paycheck to paycheck. I've gotten to a point in my life where that was my main focus for so long is fixing all that shit. And I'm in a comfortable life right now. And
It's good, man.
it's amazing. It's a great feeling not to be financially burdened, which helps me make something like this to help other veterans as well.
Yeah, I've one of the things that saved my life was my faith. Right? I just said I give it to you, God. I give up. I don't belong in this world. I want to be in this world. I give up. I give it all to you. I don't care anymore. Once I did that, things got better, believe it or not. It was like it lifted something off of me. Like, I'm not responsible for everything going on around me. There is a higher power. And it just made me uh it made me care less about the daily little tiny things that pissed me off or made me sad and things like that. And I hear a lot of other veterans say the same thing. Just you gotta take that load off your back. All of us we're built in a way where we think we have to be the provider and protector all the time. And if we're not doing that, we get depressed, So that's why, like, when we come back from war, I can't remember if we already talked about this or not, but we come back from war or a deployment and we're gone for so long, we get back home to our families and it's like we want to take over everything. And then, so that's a whole nother aspect. Families back home, well, they're going through their own set of issues. And when you get out of the military, there's, they spend months building you into this machine that'll follow orders and do what you need to do for us to have a strong military. And it makes sense. I have no argument with that. It's that when you get out, there's no detransitioning way, They don't send you through 3 months of boot camp. It's like, hey, here's what the civilian world is like now. Here's how you should act. Here's the things you can expect to feel. They just don't talk about
Well, I mean, they spend so much time, money, and effort breaking you down to build you up to what they want. Could you imagine that having a civilian boot camp where you got to go through and learn how to be a civilian again, just that same way?
it. Yeah, I think we need that.
Break them
I think we
down,
do.
build them back up as a civilian.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what job you had in the military, if you're a combat vet or not. Um, just being in the military, the structure and being told what to do and how to do it all the time, you get used to that, and and you realize when you look around you while you're in the military, you're like, man, everything's running so. At the time, it's not smooth. At the time, everything is fucked up in the military. But when you get out, you start to appreciate how the military has it down. And it's an art form to make things run the way it runs. They've got it figured out. They just don't have it figured out in the civilian world.
Well,
You get to choose your own way in the civilian
well, hell, today, till even to this day, I cannot put my hands in my pockets.
world.
I feel bad walking across grass that is not my front lawn.
Yes, exactly. Like when I meet someone even now that I know is an officer, I was a corporal in the Marine Corps. When I meet someone now that was an officer in the Marine Corps, I have to call them sir. It's like if they go, "Oh, don't call me sir, call me James." I'm like,
No.
"No, I'm calling you sir." It's just it feels weird. It's still like built into
It's
me.
ingrained.
I still, when I get mad at people, I still use my knife hand. I feel like I get through them better that way. And I've had people tell me, I've had civilians say, "Hey, don't knife hand me." And I'm like, "Can't help
Well, it's better when you get that one civilian, you're talking to him, you're doing the knife hand, they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?
it." Yeah.
I'm telling you something."
Yeah.
Do
It's just how it
do
is.
you really have to do that with your hand? Yes.
Or like when I started my career, I worked for a big company for years. And when I first started that career, I'd be like, "Hey, you go dump the garbage cans. And when you're done with that, make sure everything is tidy over there. And then I want you to go do this." And I learned real quick that you can't talk to people like, you know? And the only guy who was able to tell me you can't talk to people like that was another veteran. He goes, he was older. He was in his 40s. I was in my 20s. He goes, "Hey, you're not in the Marine Corps anymore." And it clicked. But if I didn't have someone to tell me that, I would have just spiraled out of control. And I do see a lot of young veterans coming out that they still have the military, like they're still in that mode, and there's no one there to tell them, "Hey, you got to calm it down a little," because these people, they don't get it, they don't understand.
I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that when you're in the military and the way it's taught and the way things are done, like you said, it's almost like a well-oiled machine. In the grand scheme of things, it is. But you go to civilian world and let's say you work for Walmart, if something starts going wrong, you're trying to fix that, whether that's your responsibility or not. And unfortunately, that's how we're programmed. Shit goes bad, we got to fix it.
Yeah, that's big. That's a big one. And a lot of guys struggle with that.
I do.
Yeah, like when I see something broken and I want to fix it, it takes everything in my power. And I'm in my 40s, and it still takes everything in my power to just ignore it and move on. It's not my job. Leave it alone. Mind your own business. But when I was in my 20s and 30s, I tried to fix everything, including in my marriage, which is probably why it fell apart. Being a father, right? Every problem I see, I want to fix it.
Mm.
I want to be right there involved. I want to be in charge. And a lot of times it's just helped me just, you know what? Just let it go. It's not all up to you. You can't fix everything around you. Some things are just fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how it is. And you got to just accept it.
Accept it and roll with it.
What have you found since you got out that has helped you around here, like in this area?
And I don't really know. I haven't been really searching for much. When I got out, and moved back down to Houston, I started out with therapy, and as we've talked before, I had civilian therapists, and 2 sessions in, I'm just like, I'm done. I can't do this.
I've been there.
You don't understand. What I'm saying to you is going in one ear out another. How can you expect to treat me if you don't have any clue what I'm talking about? Other than that, it's been a lot just by coincidence finding stuff. And it's only been really recently. Like I said, Sunny Creek Ranch, I got to do some stuff with them, not in the same aspect that you did. But for me, that was being around veterans. That's being around an organization that helps others. That's about to the extent of my veteran organizations and services I've ever really come in contact with.
Yeah.
I'm signed up with the VFW. I never go. I've signed up with the Wounded Warrior Project. I don't really ever hear much from them. I'm signed up with TAPS. I don't hear much from them. It's gotten to a point for me, and I hate to say it because I don't want to dissuade others from these organizations. It's just, from my situation, it doesn't seem that, it just seems like I get lost in the cracks, lost in the folds, lost in the numbers between everybody else. Because yeah, everyone wants the organization to help them. Everyone wants to feel better, but you just become a number to a certain point, and you get overlooked. Whether it's they don't have enough funds, you just happen to get lost in the paperwork shuffle or whatnot. And for me, I kind of gave up.
Yeah.
But that's also where this kind of was born from going, I didn't get any help. I want help. And I've just sitting down talking, and this is the second interview I've had in the studio. It does make me feel more relaxed and feel better because I get to hear your stories, and every week I'm hoping to have someone over there and hear their story. And to me, just talking back and forth, as you probably found out, is therapy in its own aspect.
Yeah, I mean, my number one source of therapy has been YouTube and podcasts,
Hmm.
and because for a lot of years I just spent a lot of time alone, like just in my house with my dog, no one else around, no contact with people for sometimes weeks at a time, and I was glued to YouTube, and I found interviews like this and podcasts, and sometimes just single guys talking on their podcast, whatever. That's what made me realize, hey, I'm not alone, man. Like, actually, everything I'm going through is completely normal. It's like we've all been at the end of our rope at some point.
Have you ever come across, and I might mess it up, but Sean Ryan?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love Sean
I,
Ryan.
I've always had people tell me, you need to go listen to this guy. You're starting a podcast? Go listen to this guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's got a lot
if
bigger budget than I do, though.
well, yeah, but I mean, they all start small,
Oh, yeah.
right? And it's not about the money you make. It's about who you can affect, and there's not enough podcasts out there like this one. That's why I volunteered to come here. It's because this is exactly what I want to do. Like I want to spend the rest of my life showing people the basic help that they can get,
Hmm.
and because there's so much out there, and what you were saying about like the Wounded Warrior and those big corporations like that, they do great things,
Yes, they do.
but they're a big, they're like big corporations, and they're focused a lot on smaller groups that they can branch out through,
Hmm.
right? And groups like Sunny Creek Ranch, like Fob Razor, and so what? When I needed help on my own, I seeked out smaller groups. You know, like the one I go to, there's no more than like 10 people there each time I go. It's not a big group. I've been to other ones where there's like 50 people at group sessions, and it
It's
didn't.
overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. Yeah, it didn't do any good. It was cool being around the other veterans, but there's so much to think about and so many people to meet and remember their names. And a lot of us in the first place don't want to be around a lot of people, right? So going to a small group like that, when I first started going there, it was only like 3 or 4 people. And man, I craved it every week. I was like, I can't wait to go back and go back to Sunny Creek. Another thing I found that I never knew existed was the Veterans Treatment Court.
Hmm.
Have you heard of that in Montgomery County?
I think I have, maybe just through a happenstance or just slowly hearing it. But I mean, you got more experience with it, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I got in a little bit of trouble last year. It was just I said what was considered a threat, so I got charged with a threat. I don't consider it a threat, but I'm not a lawyer. But I said what to someone was considered a threat, and I got charged with threatening someone.
Hmm.
So it was either, you know what, wait 2 years for a trial, or which I was sure I was going to get found innocent, right? Or you could join the Veteran Treatment Court, which they have in Montgomery County, and I think a lot of counties in Texas have it. A lot of the larger counties, and they make you go to therapy every week, and you have to do drug testing and stuff. So none of the veterans are drinking or taking any drugs, and you see a psychotherapist, and you go to court twice a month, where you get to talk to the judge and tell her how you're doing and things like that. And it's a year of that or 2 years into your trial. I'm like, yeah, I'll do Veteran Treatment Court. It's cool. So I started going to Veteran Treatment Court in Montgomery County. And at first I thought, oh man, I got to do drug testing and I got to go to therapy every week. But as it turns out, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. And not only the treatment protocol that they have set up, but all the other veterans. I mean, there's like 50 to 100 guys in there. And I've met new friends. I got Bible study I go to every week now. That's all Veteran Treatment Court guys. I got I go to my weekly treatment, and it's not VA treatment. This is a third party like civilian counseling service that I get to go to, but they do specialize in the military and first responders, so they know about the things that I've seen and what other guys have seen. So it's very focused on what I need in my life, right? And it has been so, even though I felt like in the beginning, you know what, I don't deserve to be here. I was like, I'm glad I'm here. So I got about 6 months left of that. And I look forward to going every week. And I'm hoping that when I'm done with it, when I graduate the program and my charges get dismissed and everything, I'm hoping that I can be a mentor to some of those guys and I can start a group or a podcast or a Bible study or something like that to help the guys because a lot of these guys have gotten in trouble. It's mainly just like DWIs and things like that, which a lot of guys have addiction, right? So I'm hoping that I can reach out and help too, help those guys because it helps me so much. And I see a lot of guys getting help that they needed that they never would have sought after, you know. So that's a great program. So whoever started that, thank you.
Mhm.
It's
And
amazing.
I think that Texas has got to be one of the best states for veterans, not just the benefits, but like you're saying with the court and everything. Texas does a lot to put veterans on, not on a pedestal, but put them first and give them a lot of good benefits for their service.
Yeah, one of the best, if not the best. There's a lot of states that do great things for veterans, but I've found in Texas, I mean, I lived in Maine for 12 years. I just moved back from Maine 4 years ago. And as soon as I came back, I mean, I just see like advertising signs, help a veteran or support veterans. And I see it everywhere. It's just, it's amazing. I love to see it.
Well, I mean, you also get benefits like no property tax. That is
That's a good one.
huge.
Yeah.
Your DV plates and free parking at a lot of the airports, free toll roads,
Free fishing license,
fishing and
fishing and
hunting.
hunting.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Texas, as far, I don't think any other state even compares to the benefits that veterans get here.
I haven't seen one yet.
I've seen close, but nowhere, no one touches us.
I know play like a lot of the southern states, Florida, and I know like Tennessee and Oklahoma have some pretty good stuff, but I haven't seen anything that has made me as happy to be a Texan as I am. For sure.
And don't forget the Hazelwood Act.
Hazelwood Act.
That's
a big
another good one. I mean, you can get so much college just being from Texas or enlisting from Texas. Because on top of the Pell Grant, your GI Bill, and now you got the Hazelwood Act. I mean, that's almost easily 6 years of college.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then if you apply that to your job while you were in, you're just furthering yourself so much more. So I mean, if you did have like the tower controller job and stuff, further that and your paycheck.
When you get out of the military, I can't think of a better thing to do while you're adjusting to the screwed up civilian world. Once you're out of the military, why not just go to college? Just go to school. And while you're adjusting, you're learning a new skill, you're getting a certification. So when you're ready to join the workforce again, you have certifications, you can make more money. And I mean, and you don't have to pay for it. It makes perfect sense, right?
I think a lot of guys are scared to go back to college just because there's that massive age difference and you're going to college with a bunch of high school graduates.
Yeah.
Because I know when I went back, I had to take a PE course for whatever stupid reason. Now, usually our PE stuff or our recreational stuff in the military counts for PE credits, but I wound up taking volleyball. The only thing I could stand. I'm out there doing sprints with these young kids. And at one point in time, I stopped. I was like, I'm too old.
Right.
And he's like, how old are you? Oh, crap. I'm way too old then.
You're like, yeah. I mean, if you're in your late 20s, you're too old already to those guys.
I think I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
And then
you were an old man by then.
And this was just a community campus where I can go on and leave. And then I switched over to a university and I felt worse because you got the frat houses, you got these young kids going out drinking every night. They're like, hey, what do you want to do? You want to go drink tonight? I got to go home to my family.
Yeah.
So,
and the civilian world might be a shell shock to a lot of guys, but college world is a whole different shock, man. It's like civilian world on steroids.
But I guarantee you veterans are some of the best students there is.
Oh yeah. Well, they follow all the rules and they don't get butthurt when you yell at them.
And most of them have integrity.
I would say so. Yeah. I'd say a lot more of them for sure. One thing that I really struggled with when I got back was, you know, I came back, I didn't address any of my issues. Well, and the military didn't really like point me in that direction either. They just kind of said, you'll be fine. Go out in the real world. So I got back and I turned to alcohol personally. That was my thing. Um, and alcohol works really well. You know, it drowns everything out. Uh, you can kind of like have a few drinks and forget about all your problems.
Mm-hmm.
And at first, I think everyone kind of has the same situation where at first it's just like, you know, you're drinking with your buddies on the weekend, and it slowly gets more and more and more until you realize that you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the good things I did, because my father told me that I should go do it, he said, dude, just check yourself into the VA and say you need to detox off alcohol. And I was like, they do that? Like, won't they like put it in my file, or won't I be looked down on? You know, I'm worried about all these things, which I know a lot of veterans do. They never go, and I never went because of the stigma, right? So, but once I said, you know what, I think I'm a little bit addicted to alcohol. It's something I want to clear up in my life. So I just went into the VA, and it was amazing. They didn't treat me bad. They treated me like, oh, we do this every day, no big deal. And I'm sure they do it every day, but um, once I got over that and I realized, you know what, I wonder what other help is out there. So I started looking into the VA, and the system at the VA, you know, they have a lot of good stuff that you never hear about, right? I'm still to this, like I heard like 2 days ago about something new at the VA that I didn't even know was available, right? So what I do love about Texas that was a lot different than Maine is that like every county in Texas has a veterans office. And you can go into the veterans office and just go, hey, I want to see what's available to me. Here's my credentials. Here's what I did in the military. And they'll have an expert there who will go through line by line. Oh, you can get this, you can get this, you can get this. What do you need? We'll sign you up. And it's so easy, like to do that. And I never had that in Maine, right? And Maine probably has it too. I'm not saying that they don't, but it's not as prevalent as it is in Texas. In Texas, it's like everywhere I go, they're telling me, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And if you just if you're a veteran, excuse me, if you're a veteran and you're thinking about, you know, I might need some help, but I don't know where to start. You just go to a place like Sunny Creek Ranch, or go to your local veterans office. Every county has one, and just ask questions, you know, and they'll point you in the right directions. And however you're feeling as a veteran, you might think my situation is so specific that I doubt there's anybody else out there going through what I'm going through. You're wrong. There's a lot of veterans going through the same shit. If you're the spouse of a veteran who's going through crazy shit and you think you're the only spouse going through it, you're not. There's a lot going through it just like you know?
Well, even not going through exactly what someone's going through, even just having some of the same aspects, like someone might not have PTSD, but they can still understand what anxiety and depression is because they got
Absolutely.
that. You don't have to have every symptom to be able to relate to somebody. And just because you have PTSD and you don't want to talk about it doesn't mean that what you can talk about and what you can share couldn't change someone's life.
Right. And I'm glad you brought up PTSD, you know, the word PTSD, because I think it's thrown around a lot
Mm-hmm.
by a lot of veterans and a lot of people, a lot of families of veterans, right? Oh, he's got PTSD. Don't worry about it, you know. But I I think they changed it to PTS now. It's not a disorder, but it's post traumatic stress that a lot of different people and different aspects of life go through. Um, I call it like an adaptation, right? If you go to war and you're getting shot at and your friends are getting killed around you, your brain adapts. It rewires
Mm-hmm.
itself a certain way, and when it does that, it does it because it has to do it, right? So when you get thrown back into civilian world, you're still wired that way. You're wired to deal with something so unimaginable that everything else seems like you don't fit in anymore, right? So when you go to the VA, or you go to a counselor or a therapist or whatever for the first time, if once you finally get yourself to walk in the place, it's hard for a lot of guys. But once you find yourself to get there, don't be afraid to say, "Hey, I think I have some PTSD. I think you know, I know it's thrown around a lot, but I think I might have it." And they start picking that apart, and you start to learn a lot about what that really means. I think that's why we live in such a good age nowadays, is because that word is thrown around a lot and it's becoming commonplace. And we're much more able to talk about it now. And guys are getting help. Guys coming back from, well, really every war in human history, but guys coming back from World War One and World War Two and Vietnam, like there was no PTSD.
No, that was shell shock.
Yeah, they were just crazy. It was just shell shock. You'd have guys that would be like catatonic in the corner. They went through so much, and the brain got rewired in such a way that they just couldn't deal with anything anymore. And nowadays, there's so many more resources that we don't know about. That that's my goal. The rest of my life is I just want to point people in the right direction. I don't think really I could probably help anybody. I can just tell them my story and what I've been through, but just pointing people in the right direction. And I think that's why when I saw your Veterans Unmasked pop up in my feed, I was like, that's exactly what we need. We need more of that. We need more people just talking it out and pointing people in the right direction. I'm sure you're going to have people on here that have foundations and have groups and things like that otherwise we would have never heard of before.
And I want to make this clear. This podcast was started for veterans, first responders, and family members. It doesn't necessarily have to be combat veteran. You don't have to be a first responder that's seen action or whatnot. It's for everybody. My service dog trainer, wonderful dude, never deployed. And I got a hold of him yesterday. And I was like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? And he looked surprised. And he's like, but I never deployed. Fuck that. You're a veteran. You did things. You now run a service dog training organization. You're training my dog for me. Why would I not want you on here? Get your word out. Get those resources out to people.
Yeah, we can't reverse the stigma, right? The stigma used to be, oh, combat vets are crazy and all that stuff. Well, now the stigma is, oh, I wasn't in a war. I don't deserve the help. Any like that at all. Just being in the military alone changes the way your mind is wired. And I think everyone in the military needs help in some way.
Well, and I think that's one of my problems when we're talking about Wounded Warrior Project, TAPS, and VFW. Now, I'll admit a lot of it's on me too, because I have this innate ability to go, there's someone else that could use that more than I could.
Yes.
And I'm always doing that.
I do it too.
Yes, I understand I should get some help if I feel I need it, but I'm always thinking there's someone else that could use it more. If this could save their life, fine. I'm on this earth till I die. I'm on this earth till I die of natural causes or someone runs me over, but it's not going to be my doing. I'm not going to leave this earth because of my hands.
No.
But if those services could help somebody else more than they would help me, go for it.
I've met congressmen. I've met like doctors, like people who are like brain surgeons, all kinds of veterans that all have their own issues. Because I'm real open about, a lot of people aren't as open as I am, but I love to talk about my service and how it affected me and addiction and things like that. I think people need to hear it. So when I walk around and I just meet people that are veterans, I go, hey, have you gone to the VA? Have you talked to somebody? And they're like, oh, I'm fine. I didn't get deployed or anything. And I'm like, so what? Like the resources are there.
It's there for you. Use it.
Go to therapy, man. It can't hurt you, right? Like what? Okay, so you go to a therapist and you say, yeah, I didn't deploy, but the way my drill instructor used to yell at me, it really affected me in life. Okay, let's talk about it. Like it doesn't have to be a stigma. You don't have to feel ashamed of anything that you did in the military. Everyone in the military, everyone, including everyone in the world, period. But everyone in the military has some sort of trauma or something that wired the brain in a certain way that they want to overcome. And the resources are there. It's just we have to get past our own self-doubt and go reach out for it, And there's a lot of veterans who start veteran groups. There's Honor Cafe. Mm-hmm. He's a veteran. He knows what it's like. He also has a nonprofit veteran group that he supports with his business, and he does great things. And there's also lots of smaller ones that I don't even know about right in this area. And are you gonna like? Is this gonna be like a local thing, or is this gonna be a more like a national
Well,
podcasting?
as far as getting interviews in, it's right now we're doing the greater Houston and surrounding area,
Okay,
mainly because it's on location here
good.
in the studio. But yes, I do plan to branch out and make this an opportunity in more than just Houston. Eventually, I would love to get a bigger studio, more centrally located and easier access for everybody.
And marketing is hard, right? Especially for a nonprofit. Marketing is expensive, and if you pay for marketing, you have to pass that on to someone, right? If you're not getting enough donations, you have to pass it on to an end user. And the last thing that we want to do is charge veterans to come to these things, right? So my hope is that someone just sees this and says, "Hey, I should go get interviewed on a podcast and tell everybody about my clinic or my weekend my getaway I have for veterans every year or I mean, there's so many things around here that I haven't heard of that you haven't heard of, and no one ever hears of them."
Well, I know there's a couple of small groups around here that do like offshore fishing and stuff or lake fishing. They do those for veterans. Because we were talking about it, I started thinking about it. I know there's a hunting one too, and there are groups. Now, not all of them are easy to find, but
That's the key right there.
and my main purpose or one of my main goals in this podcast is to make it to where no veteran has to pay to come here. I actually wanted to have enough not income, but enough funds through this nonprofit organization to be able to give out a gas card for someone that's come a long way. Give them that show shirt that's specifically designed for anyone that sat in that seat.
That's a good idea.
Not that anyone else can get, only the people who sat in that seat. A challenge coin. Who doesn't love challenge?
Right.
You know, and that's what I want to do. And as of right now, it comes out of my pocket. Everything in here has come out of my pocket, whether it's the formation, the microphones, the cameras. And I've been building this up for years. But through those years, through the stress, through the times of going, is this really going to fucking work?
Here I am.
Second person in the seat, and it's working.
Yeah, man. And you can have me on as much as you want. You can just make me your guinea pig.
Trust me, I want follow-up interviews. I want people to come back because I want to see the progress. This ain't just a one-day documentary. This is, let me record, let me archive, let me preserve your history.
I like to talk, and I think that veterans are such a niche group of people, right? I mean, we have experience. We've experienced things in our life that most people don't get to ever experience, and it doesn't matter if you have trauma from it or not. Just the being in the military and that environment, it makes us a certain kind of people. I don't know. I've always wondered this. I don't know if certain kinds of people join the military or the military makes us into certain kinds of people. I don't know the answer to that question because we're all volunteer service, right? So, well, except for the Vietnam guys that were around when they had the draft, but everyone else, like guys our age, we're all volunteers. You know, we joined the military of our own free will, and maybe we're just a different breed of people. You know, I hope not. I hope there's a lot of people out there that think like us that weren't in the military that will appreciate what the military has done for us, and they'll try to give back. And what I've been pleasantly surprised at, there is a lot of people that weren't military that are doing a lot of good work in the military world. I met a lady the other day at Sunny Creek Ranch who helps support Sunny Creek. That's all she does. She goes around, she finds these really small charity groups, nonprofit organizations that help veterans, like the fishing guy you were talking about. And she helps fund them. She helps with the marketing to try to get the word out to everyone around, you know, first responders too, because they see a lot of shit that we shouldn't see. So yeah, I think getting the word out and marketing is probably one of the best way, especially on social media, is probably one of the best ways to get through to a lot of people.
Now, and you mentioned earlier about marketing being expensive. I will tell you this: when you are a nonprofit, it's a little bit easier. You do get access to a lot of good programs and stuff for either very cheap or free. A lot of companies are willing to work with you. I've had companies I've emailed and go, "Hey, we're a brand new nonprofit starting up. Do you guys have like a nonprofit discount or something?" And they're like, Yeah, just send us your credentials and we'll get you going. And a lot of places like 50% off or free.
That's
I
awesome.
think I got a year of Adobe, the Adobe Suite or Creative Express, one of the two. But it's a lot of their programs, and for a year I don't have to pay anything,
That's
and
awesome.
it helps so much. Being able to have a website that you're not paying $40, $50 for just to be hosted. Now you're only paying like 10. That gives us more money back, so we can get more in here.
And that leads to advertising on the podcast as well.
Oh, there's another one. Google. You know how when you type in something on Google and you get that sponsored search shit,
Yeah.
they give you $10,000 free ad grant a month to do that kind of sponsorship.
If you're a nonprofit.
If you're a nonprofit,
Oh wow.
YouTube has a nonprofit program. There's a lot of nonprofit stuff out there. There's a lot of great resources.
That's awesome.
Now it's just finding them all, putting them all together, figuring it out. So
Everyone should do a podcast.
no, that's going to flood my market.
But I know it's hard. Well, I wouldn't even know where to start to become a nonprofit. That must be a lot of work.
It is. It truly is, because not only do you have to come up with the name and everything and hope, pray that no one else in America has it or your
Yeah.
state, but then you have to register for like to be able to receive money as donations and stuff. Once you submit that paperwork with the IRS, until you get that back, you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
You can't receive money because it's not tax deductible. You can't claim as tax.
Right.
And until they come back with that, you're just sitting there. Even when they come back with that, there's still so much planning, so much prep, so much work.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even think this studio was done until it's not even done. It's still going, but I wasn't happy enough to get anyone in here till last week.
Right.
So
It was a work in progress still. So you were like,
it's always a work in progress, though.
sure.
Even before you got here, or on our break, me and Mike were talking about how we could take these curtains down, put walls up, soundproof this a little bit better.
Well, as soon as you get it to where you can do all that, you're going to want to move to a bigger building and do all kinds of other stuff.
And that's
So
already planned.
it's well, and I think that's another thing in the military is you're always improving, right? It doesn't matter if you find a place where you're happy and you're satisfied. Nope, gotta always improve it. That's a that's like burned into us. At least it was in the Marine Corps.
it, it's almost like your duty station. The best duty stations in the world is the one you're going to and the one you left.
Yeah,
Just like this. My best studio until I find another one, but this will still always be my first studio.
yeah.
So
What was the best thing you got out of the military?
first and foremost, discipline. Discipline and a sense of belonging, I guess, because I grew up in Alvin, Texas. If you've ever been
Oh, I know
there,
what that is. Yeah,
yeah, there ain't shit down there. Once you graduate high school, you can either do drugs, go bowling, get pregnant, or be in jail. Well, I only had 3 out of 4 options since I can't get pregnant. But once I graduated, and it was almost like you. I was still in school, high school at 9/11, so I couldn't join September 12th. But when I got out, I looked around at my life. I'm like, I'm not smart enough to go to college, athletic enough to have a scholarship.
have you seen the people that go to college, dude?
Yes, I have. I've seen the high schoolers.
Yeah,
But at that time, because I wasn't making the best grades, I wasn't a valedictorian or anything, but I also wasn't a failure. I had decent grades, but in my mind, I didn't have the money. I didn't have the ability to go to college. So it was, what can I do? Military.
military.
And it was only a week thought. Like within 7 days, it went from me hating everything about the military, swearing I'll never join,
Signing a paper.
signing my life away.
Yeah, yeah. For me, it was one day. I was like, I'm never joining the military. I don't want to follow in my dad's footsteps. And then I realized, no, that's exactly what I want to do. All within like 24 hours.
Well, it's funny because the way you explain how you saw 9/11, that's almost how I did it. Because I was in high school. It was my senior year, I think it was. And I went to go get the TV from the library. We still had those TVs on the carts.
Yeah,
That's how.
big wide tube TVs.
And as I'm going to the library to get it, they're watching the news. Just as that first plane's hitting. And I'm wheeling the cart class. I think it was science or some shit. And I get there. I was like, ma'am, you got to put the news on. We never watched the news. I got on the plane. Put the news on.
Put it on.
As soon as she clicked it on, got it to the right channel, second plane hit, and I'm like, our world's changed.
I remember thinking, man, is this a replay? Like, and everyone in the room was like, oh my God. And I was like, wow, this is live? Like, this is happening right now? It was just, I'll never forget that feeling.
And for the young mind, it's so incomprehensible. It's hard to explain. As a young adults that we were, you're watching the world literally change in front of you.
Everything I did that day, from the moment I woke up to the time I went to bed, that whole day feels like it was 6 months ago. I remember every detail of the whole day. The year before and the year after, I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
But that day I remember.
But look how much that one day has changed everything. Because people were amazed by this. When I was growing up, my dad was Air Force. So we'd always go to the Air Force base. Now, to get on Air Force base nowadays, you have to have your ID card. Everyone in the car has to have their ID card. Back then, they used to have a little sticker on the top of your windshield. As long as you had that sticker, they'll just wave you through. If you slow down less than 5 miles per hour, I'd be amazed.
Yeah.
You would just roll right through.
Mm-hmm.
And now look at us. Now we have to show IDs, get our car searched, mirror underneath the car, TSA.
Well, I used to walk every time you went to go do a flight. You would walk up to the gate and give your loved one a hug, and they'd walk on the plane. Now you have to drop them off at the beginning of the airport and you can't follow them anywhere.
Fill out like 12 stacks of papers just to be able to enter near the runway and all this shit.
How did we survive all those years of airline travel without a massive terror attack? It literally changed the whole world. Just like the iPhone did.
And see, when I went to go see one of my first therapists, we talked about this. And I said something that really pissed her off to the point of her actually kicking me out of her office. Where she got on the subject of 9/11. And she's like, well, how do you feel about it? Okay.
I get asked that a lot.
Don't get me wrong. I don't agree that anyone died. I don't like the fact that anyone died. But it was going to happen eventually. That attack was going to happen one way or another,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was 9/11 into the World Trade Centers or somewhere else doing something else. It was bound to happen because, like you said, we had no security.
Mm-mm.
We thought we were untouchable.
Yep.
We thought we were the best damn country in the world. I mean, yeah, we are, but we thought we were untouchable.
We were big-headed. Yeah.
Little David shoved a fucking rock into our eyeball.
Yeah, and it's going to happen again, too.
It will.
I mean, as long as humans are around, things like that are going to happen.
Well, we even got people on our own soil doing it because what was it, 99, Timothy McVeigh and the Oklahoma City bombing.
Yeah.
Sadly, I was right in that area for that, too.
And I watch the news right now, and there's people at protests saying death to America.
Yeah.
I mean, right in the middle of the street, open, just saying it. It's like, wow, we have a lot to worry about. We're just one something away from a terrible tragedy, and it will inevitably bring us all together again. Because Pearl Harbor brought us all together,
Mhm.
right? The country was never more patriotic. September 12th, the country was never more patriotic. Like, it always takes a tragedy to bring us all together. And like right now, we are at a point in American history where it feels like we all hate each other. And I'm just afraid another tragedy is going to happen again.
I see what you're saying there. I mean, we are a spark away from a powder keg igniting, but which way? Because it could go either way.
Either way.
It could either bring us all together or split right down the center, which we already are. And it's just going to make it worse.
Yeah, I hope not. I hope it goes the other way, but I hope it doesn't happen at all, obviously. But if we keep our focus and we don't let things get too far out of control, we can avoid something like that.
Yeah.
But right now, things are going out of control.
I think if we focus more on each other as humanity and human beings rather than what the fuck the Kardashians are doing or all this other crap, this world would be so much better.
I love to watch those interviews where they, like these guys who have these YouTube channels, and they'll go around college campuses, and these are college kids, like they're getting higher education, and they're asking them, who did we fight in the Revolutionary War? And they're like, Germany. And they go, what are the names of the Kardashian sisters? And they can name them all off one after the other. And it's like, that's where we are as a country right now.
Hell, you can ask someone to sing the SpongeBob SquarePants song. They'll know that before they know all the words in the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh yeah.
I guarantee it.
How many times a year do you see some famous person saying the Star Spangled Banner at a football game and they got the words screwed up or backwards? It happens all the time.
Or they sing it in a whole different medium.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, that's not, no.
Yeah, there's people that do it on purpose like that. Yeah. I'm talking about the ones who just don't even know.
Yeah.
They don't even know the words.
And it's usually till the very end. Is at that very end that they start screwing it up. It's like, that's what you're supposed to know.
I usually just try to tell myself, oh, it's just because they were nervous. You know, I mean, hopefully they know the words to the national anthem.
We'll give them a pass.
Yeah.
It's like not knowing the words to the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah. I will admit that I didn't know the words to the Texas Allegiance until about a year or two ago.
I still don't.
You don't know it either?
No.
When I was in school, we never said it. The Texas Pledge of Allegiance. But we did stand up every day and we said the Pledge of Allegiance to America. And on some days, like on big like Christian events, they would do prayer, like in school. And I was like, man, those were the good old days. I don't know if it's because of the prayer, but I do know that it seems like more people thought the same. More people had the same faith and the same patriotism, and we were all more one cohesive unit. You know?
Well, they've changed the education system down here in Texas. Now they're making it mandatory that 10 Commandments are in schools, in the classrooms and stuff.
Well, they're giving the teachers more options now, whereas before, like, it's easier to fire a teacher now in Texas, I think, than it was in the past, which is good. I think everyone should be an at-will employer, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not doing a good job, you should be fired. But they made it impossible for teachers to be fired for a long, long time, and they finally got rid of that too.
Well, even nowadays, even with cameras in classrooms and stuff, there are still teachers that are pole vaulting across that ethical line of what they should and shouldn't be doing.
Absolutely.
And they just know exactly where those cameras are placed, or they know how to push that child's button to get that child riled up.
Yeah. Like, I just want to teach, I want the algebra teacher to teach my kid algebra. Like, that's all I want. I don't want him to be teaching him philosophy about Democrats versus Republicans. And I just want you to teach him algebra.
Unless you're doing a civics class, keep your fucking politics out of classroom.
Yeah. Keep it out.
I don't give a damn if you're Republic, liberal, Democrat, or whatever. Keep it the fuck out of class. Educate.
Yeah. And like with the 10 Commandments, I don't really see anything bad in the 10 Commandments that shouldn't be taught. I do believe that people should have the right to freedom of religion, and they should be able to talk about whatever religion that they want. And the 10 Commandments, I think, fits perfectly in the classroom. You know, don't lie, don't steal, don't kill people. You know, like, to me, it's not a big deal. If teachers want to put up the 10 Commandments, fine, put it up.
Okay, but we're going to tread some careful water here. But what if they want to put in the Quran?
Well, the Quran has some things in it that shouldn't be in classroom. Many religions do, yeah, but I don't think the 10 Commandments. I think they're pretty washed. You know, because that's like the basics of what the Bible teaches. Like they're not saying Jesus is Lord in the classroom. It's just the 10 Commandments.
Well, but even at that, I mean, strip the 10 Commandments down, and it's like you're saying, it shouldn't even be necessarily 10 Commandments. It should be just how you live your life as a decent human being. Don't kill, don't lie, be respectful to your mother and father. Majority of the 10 Commandments are just everything you can live by. And to be honest with you, most religions have their own aspect of the 10 Commandments. And it's just, I mean, granted, not called 10 Commandments, but you can almost find the same exact wording in every religion. Don't kill, don't be rude to your parents and stuff like that. And it's just, that's everyday life.
Well, not every religion, but
majority, like a vast portion of them, they do believe in.
Yeah, most of them have a good message to send, and like if they said, "Hey, we want to put the Quran commandments," I don't even know what they are. If we want to put the Quran commandments in the room, and you let me put my 10 Commandments there, right next to it, fine, go ahead, I don't care.
There you go.
Like, because I feel like people should. I mean, it's written in our Constitution, freedom of religion, right? So I don't see any problem with any of that.
And to be honest, I think that people should study more than just one religion, whether you're grew up Christian or not. You know, take the time, study Hinduism, study Buddhism. You don't have to practice it, just study it. to know, understand, and learn what these other religions do as well. It's not religion versus religion. Just have a very an idea of it.
Well, you know what amazes me is that people will read all kinds of books. They'll read, like, I know someone who she reads every day. She reads like 3 books a week, big, thick books. She's just a reader. It's all she does is read. And I asked her, like, have you ever read the Bible? Oh, no, I'm not going to read the Bible. I'm like, okay. So you read all these books and you waste all your time reading all these books, but you haven't read the most studied, scholared, copied, translated book ever written in human history. Like to me, all the religious books, those are the most followed and studied books in the world. And I think everyone should read every one of them because, like, even if you don't want to be a Christian, okay, for instance, at least read and understand the book. That way you can understand what Christians believe, because a majority of the world are Christians or Jews, right? So you can only learn from it. And hey, who knows? Maybe God will speak to you through the book if you read it. So I recommend everybody read the Bible, and I mean, at least the Bible.
Yeah.
And then go to all the other smaller religions and read what they know too, because you never know when you're going to meet someone that follows a certain religion. And it would be nice to at least know a little bit about it, you know?
And I'll admit, first off, I'm more agnostic. I don't have a specific religion I follow or anything, but I grew up Southern Baptist. I've read the Bible, and then when I was in college, I took a bunch of different world religion classes. I have no problems with religion or people of religion. One of my best friends and one of our board members, she's pretty good religious. She's like really up there. Me and her will have debates all day long. There are some things she'll say that I'm like,
wait a second,
you're right. But then there's other ways I catch her back. She's like, shit. But we never get into a fight. We never get into an argument. We never make it like, oh, your God doesn't exist. It's a respectable debate between two people.
That's one thing we've lost in our culture. Everybody seems like if you disagree with someone, you have to fight with them. I see it. Maybe it's just social media because I don't see it a lot in the real world, but that's also because I'm in Texas, and the majority of people here are all the same.
We're pretty stubborn.
Yeah, we're pretty stubborn here. But it seems like if I'm going to argue with someone about like abortion or something, and I'm going to have a friendly argument, like, hey, let's just kick the tires and let's just, what are your views and what are mine? And maybe we'll both get something from each other. You can't do that anymore.
Find that common ground.
People get mad and they my way is the right way. And it's just, well, everyone just calm down. Let people have their beliefs, have debates. Like, we need to be able to debate things. We get so focused on social media and YouTube, spending all our time alone and only watching what the algorithm feeds us, that we get buried in one mentality. And seeing people face to face and having conversations, I think, is where the younger generations are failing, is because the younger generations, they're all about the computer screen and what they're seeing on TV, and they get to pick what they watch. Whereas I grew up at a time, you too, we're about the same age, where they call us Zennials, right? We're the last generation to grow up without tablets and cell phones and iPhones. But we also, and at a very young age, it all was brought to us, right? So we understand the analog and the digital, and we understand talking and not getting mad about stupid things. But the younger, the older I get, the generations after me, they seem to get more and more defensive about things, and they just want to argue all the time.
Yeah, but I think our ancestors would say the same thing about us.
Every generation has a bitch about the younger generation, for sure. My dad's a boomer, and I remember growing up, him, oh, them damn young people, and they listen to the rap music, and I was like, I listen to rap music, Dad.
Music's been one of my biggest therapies. I'll listen to anything.
What kind you listen to?
Anything, whether it's like classic, country, rock, alternative.
What's like one album you're into right now?
Currently I've been listening to Fozzy.
Fozzy?
You watch wrestling?
No.
Oh.
Did as a kid, but I know.
Chris Jericho from wrestling, he created his own band called Fozzy, and they got some pretty good songs out.
Is that like a
Um,
is that like a Southern rock type?
no, it's more like just a rock alternative. Take kind of like almost a Godsmack or
I love Godsmack.
I wouldn't say Metallica. No, I mean it's stuff like that. I'll listen to Godsmack, Metallica, Disturbed. The other day we were listening to Toby Keith.
I love Toby Keith.
Uh,
And I love Brooks and Dunn. Brooks and Dunn was one of my favorites of all time. And I don't know why, because I don't like that kind of music. But
Mhm.
I just whenever I hear a Brooks and Dunn song, I just feel like a little kid again. It feels great. I've been into like I just love guitar music. I play a little bit of guitar, not much, but I've been listening to Joey Landreth and the Landreth brothers and old stuff like old blues, stuff like that. Like I used to listen to Disturbed, Nirvana, Stone Temple Pilots, Soundgarden,
The 90s.
the 90s stuff, like heavy rock. And I didn't listen to any country except when I had to in my parents' car, But nowadays, like the music has been getting I'm more into the music side and like the complexity of the guitar playing and the drum beats. And like I find myself, I don't know if it's my age getting to me or what, but everything is slowing down now and I'm listening to more intricate stuff with music. And I'm starting to learn like music theory. And I was talking to someone the other day about how when we get older we get wiser, and what I'm listening to now the young kids wouldn't think is cool anymore. Just like when I was young, my dad listened to the Beatles and the Rolling Stones, and he thought that was cool. And he thought Soundgarden sounded like trash. And I remember as a kid thinking, how can you think it's trash? It's so good, So another thing I've been trying to do lately is I've been trying to listen to some of the newer country, which I despise, but I'm trying to listen to it. I'm trying to give it a chance because I know maybe it's just my old brain, not agreeing with my stubbornness, not agreeing with me anymore.
No, I think you're right. I think it's all trash too. No, my our 16-year-old daughter, stepdaughter or whatever, but she's gotten so big into music and she's not into her age stuff. She'll listen to Stone Temple Pilots, Hot Action Cop, the stuff that we grew up in. I mean, she's even gets into Rolling Stones. My kid, the song we were talking about, he loves Rolling Stone. He loves Godsmack, and we'll sit there and usually what I'll do is I'll put on a song and he tries to guess the song band or the song name and the band. I'd be like, nope, it's this.
And how old is he?
He's 11.
Wow, that's really cool.
But see, I started him off early when his mom was pregnant. I made a belly band with headphones on it. You can put it around her stomach because he would kick violently. But as soon as you put on Godsmack, Metallica, or Disturbed, he settled his ass down.
Because he had something to listen to.
He's always been a music baby.
That's cool. My ex-wife, when she was pregnant with our son, she would put audiobooks on. When she would read, she loves to read. She would read and she would put the earphones on her stomach, put on the audiobook, and then I'll read the book. And I remember seeing her do that, I remember going, so stupid. You can't hear nothing in there,
Mm-hmm.
The kid loves to read. He's 12 now, but man, he reads. He was always like 3 grades ahead of everybody in reading. And he still is today. He's a great reader. And it must be because she did that. So maybe there is something to that.
I don't know. I tried to play Little Einsteins when my son was growing up, and he still walks into walls and shit. But I will brag though, he is a friggin' genius when it comes to math. Like before he even started school, he knew his multiplication table.
Really?
But we would walk up and down to the bus because his bus stop was half a mile away. Every morning, I'd walk him down that bus stop, and we would just be doing what's 3 times 3, 9 times 9. Gets it. And even to this day, his teachers are saying he'll sit there, do math in his head and get in trouble for doing it in his head instead of showing his work.
Yeah, you got to show your work.
But they're sitting there going, I don't see how he does it. And they're giving him like tens of thousands of numbers to multiply and stuff. And he's just doing it with no problem.
Having to write it down probably slows him down.
That's the worst part. Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like making him worse.
And then you have to go back and go, well, did I really do that? How did I do it in my head? So, I mean, I understand both sides.
Sure, yeah.
But
he's got to learn both ways, right? At least they don't just throw a calculator in front of him. I figured that's what they were doing in school nowadays.
Remember, when we were growing up, we weren't always going to have a calculator in our pocket.
No, we used to have to when I was in high school, all they had was the calculator watches.
The Casios or something.
Yeah, and guys would sneak them in their backpack and like do the math on the calculator watch, but we had no phones or any of that stuff.
You know, you could actually program those to control the school TVs.
Really?
Yeah. So you could sit
Oh,
there with it and switch the channels.
You know from experience?
I cannot confirm nor deny.
My son, we'll be just driving in the car and he'll be like, Dad. I'm like, yeah, son. He's like, why does only part of the moon light up? Is it because the sun is shining on it like a tennis ball, like the sun, like a flashlight shining on a tennis ball? Is that why it looks like that? And I'm like, why are you thinking about? Or one day he's me, him, and my dad. My dad's 80, right? Me, him, and my dad are hanging out, and he goes, Dad, are birds conscious? And me and my dad looked at each other like, he shouldn't be thinking about that stuff at 12 years old. But those kids got a lot of stuff going through their minds, and it's so shapeable right now. Like I'm so afraid sometimes I'm gonna say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing. He's gonna remember it for his whole life, and it's gonna screw him up, you know?
Well, and that's my problem. I got a bad memory, and my kid will go, don't you remember this one thing you said 12 years ago or whatever? And it's like, no. Do you remember I asked you to put the dishes up last night? No. Well, see?
Yeah, I mean, they absorb everything.
It's scary.
It is scary. And I had to tell my son once because I could tell that I did something that I yelled at him too hard or something, you know, and I felt bad afterwards. So I went in there and I was like, buddy, you know, I'm sorry I yelled at you. I shouldn't have. And what you did was wrong, but I'm sorry I yelled at you that way. And he was like, it's okay, Dad. I know this is the first time you've ever been a dad.
Oh.
And I was like, wow, he thinks a lot deeper than I thought he did.
Well, thanks for making me feel like a dick.
Because it's true, you know, everything we do, it's pretty much the first time we've gone through it. Even if you do the same thing every day is a different day. Mm-hmm. So every time you go through something, you're going through it for the first time under those circumstances, you know? So guys and girls, they're way too hard on themselves all the time.
Oh, yeah.
And we just need to kind of take everything a little less serious and just try to do the best we can each day, you know? And I know that you're agnostic and you're kind of still wondering about what's out there, but one thing that really, a lot of it's faith, right? So it's not just what's in the book or what science says, but it's also about our personal experiences. And for me, it was like I was literally suicidal and I was done with the world. And I just threw my hands in the air and I said, God, I give it to you. I'm done. Fuck this world. I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be alive anymore. But I'm not going to kill myself. I figure you got a plan for me, so I'm going to suck it up, embrace the suck. I'm going to do it, right? And I just gave it to him. Just gave it to God. And the next day, I woke up like a whole new man. Mm. I mean, it was, I can't even explain it to you in a way that you would believe. I think we each have to go through it on our own. But that was the moment where I realized, wow, there is a God. And the relief I got, and I could go through each day just going, you know what? There's someone higher up in control, and I'm kind of just along for the ride. I just got to do the best I can and be the best person I can. Don't act off of emotion. Just be thoughtful in everything that I do. Try to be a good person, and everything's going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And once I realized that, man, it just all started coming around for me. And I think the main thing I got out of it was you need to spread your story. You need to tell people. And I'm not saying I've been through a lot of shit, right? There's guys that have been through a lot more than me and are going through a lot more than me. And all I'm saying is that there's other people out there and there's a way out. And it's not just about how you feel inside. You need to get it out and you need to tell people and you need to have faith in something, and things get a lot better, man. And there are so many resources I never knew existed. Just 3 years ago, I thought, man, there's nowhere for me to go. There's no one like me here. Like my family doesn't understand. My ex-wife doesn't understand. My son doesn't understand. Like nobody understands me, you know, as a person. And well, I figured out that's not true. There are people that understand. There's people that want to understand. People who want to hear your story. They want to help. People who dedicate their entire lives and all their money to reaching people just like me and you.
Mhm.
And we just don't see them. And it's sad. The word needs to get out. And I thank you so much for doing this, man. This is awesome.
No problem. I mean, when I first started advertising for this and marketing to get people in an interview, it was about 6 months ago. And we thought we were ready, started getting people. And that was one of the biggest things we've heard was, that sounds cool. Thank you for doing this. And we're like, I just want to sit down and talk to people.
I just want to meet new people and talk to people. Yeah.
I just want to record stories because I'm a huge history buff.
Me too.
I love watching History Channel. I'm still stuck on, the usual cliche World War II in Rome, but
Well, there's so much to learn.
exactly. And it's amazing to see how much from those time periods that we still even implement today in certain aspects, let alone
Sure.
not just civilian life, but the military life. But I think for me, it's more of a realization of going, this is what someone's gone through when they had it 20 times harder than us. Going back to what we were talking about with like the Battle of the Bulge. I couldn't imagine that. Normandy, the landing of Normandy,
Dude,
I don't even want to imagine the mind of someone who survived that.
I wish some of them were still alive because I would love to talk to someone from the invasion of Normandy.
I would too. But I'd feel so bad the whole time going, man, I'm glad that was you, not me, because I don't think I would have been able to survive it. Just knowing those landing doors are open and you just might get gunned down.
Yeah, like what was going through their head at that time, you know?
Shit.
And each my dad told me this, and he's totally right. Because when I came back from the war, my dad was like, me and my dad growing up, he never talked about war. I would be like, Dad, tell me about Vietnam. Did you kill people? You know, like kids do. And he was like, I don't talk about that stuff, you know. And that was it. But when I got back from the war, he was like, so how was it? And I was like, no, with my dad, I did want to talk about it because I was hoping he would start telling me stuff. And he did. He started opening up and telling me. He's like, now that you understand,
now you're in the brotherhood.
I can tell you some things. And he told me some things. The one thing he told me that really stuck out, because I told him, I kept repeating, you know, this happened, Dad, but I know it was nothing like what you went through. And then I would say, yeah, this happened. I saw a guy come apart. But I know you saw that every day, you know? And he goes, let me stop you, son. He said, one thing I know for sure is that every single war, there's like every single veteran, there's veterans from a previous war who had it worse. Every single one of them. When he came back from Vietnam, it was the Korean guys. His older, like all the guys in his command, like all the staff NCOs and the generals and stuff, they were all Korean veterans, right? And his father was a World War II veteran. So he said every generation back, every war generation back, they had it worse. The Korean guys had it worse than the Vietnam guys. The World War II guys had it worse than the Korean guys. And then the World War I guys had it worse than the World War II guys. And it just keeps going back and back and back. And that's the way it's always been.
I agree. And real quick after we do, I want to make this point and take a small break. I agree with that. They've always had it worse, but it's not always the same war either. So how do you gauge it? Because World War II was not the same as Vietnam. Vietnam was a whole different war. And just like with ours, you know, see, World War II, you had a front line. Iraq, you don't.
Right.
Your front line's outside of that perimeter of the fob you're on currently. So
yeah, the war is not the same, but the trauma that guys got.
Oh yeah.
So like just the trauma of war in general, knowing that hey, I'm here to kill people, or I might get killed while I'm here, right? Like just those two thoughts alone is enough to drive a man mad.
Oh yeah.
Right. So, and maybe it doesn't drive you mad, but it affects you in some way, and you have to rewire your brain just a little bit in order to just get through it sanely, right? So once your brain wires that way, it's like that forever. Like you can never change it. And I think that's part of what they call PTSD is just your brain had to adapt to a trauma, right? And lots of people go through all kinds of traumas. I mean, there's people that fall off horses.
Yeah.
and they can never look at a horse again. They get anxiety and panic, and that's just your brain rewiring it, and it becomes a disorder when it affects your life in a negative way.
Or like people who get in a massive car wreck and takes them a while.
I mean, you could just stub your toe or get bit by a snake or something like that, and your brain adapts to it. And then now you know, hey, there's danger out there, and now you're afraid to walk through the woods because you got bit by a snake. One time, you know. But yes, the wars are all very different. Every war is different, right? But each generation, I think, had hard, it was a little more difficult, right? Like, I got an MRE every day. Like, there might have been one day where we didn't get to eat because something crazy happened or whatever. But for the most part, I got fed every day. I didn't take a shower for 3 months. Well, the guys nowadays, they're getting showers every other day, and it's a little easier. You know, technology's better, logistics are better. My dad, there was a time in war where he didn't eat for 3 days. And like, that was almost unheard of in the Iraq War. Yeah, but the first hour got taken away, remember?
I think we made up a lot on that. I mean, and that's just a screw up we couldn't predict. And, you know, I do thank you for sticking around and re-recording that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man.
And for those who are actually still listening, and we do publish this part, we tried to record for an hour, sat down here and talked for an hour, and found out there was no audio recorded. So now we're taking take 2 and having this whole conversation again, trying to make sure what we have spoken and have not.
Yeah, one of my main, I saw that you had posted on socials that you were starting a new podcast, and this is right up my alley, the Veterans Unmasked. I think interviewing veterans and getting to hear their story is great for not only veterans being able to realize that they're not alone in the world, but for civilians to kind of understand what we go through as veterans, you know? Because, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff, and they're afraid to ask. They're afraid to ask, right?
Because of that stigma.
They don't want to go, hey, like, do you deal with depression and anxiety? You just don't want to talk to people about that. So I think this is a great idea. And one of the things that I wanted to tell people is just the things that have personally helped me. And every veteran's different. But for me, it was really hard to find any help and getting the balls to go look for it. Right. So once I reached rock bottom, I reached out to God and I said, you know, I give my life to you. I give up. Like, this life sucks. I don't want to be here anymore, which is a place a lot of veterans find themselves in. And I just gave up. And then after that, I started finally getting the motivation to get out of bed and go visit places that could help me. You know, I went to the veterans office. I looked up veteran therapy in Montgomery County on Google, just basic stuff. And the first thing that popped up was Sunny Creek Ranch. And I told you about them. And Bob Razor and the Marine Corps League was a great thing to join for Marines who are getting out. And we need a fresh, young crowd to come into the Marine Corps League and take things over. Places like the VFW, you know, just things like that. Just reach out, get involved, go to your local office, figure out what you rate as a veteran. Some veterans rate different things from the VA. So go and there are people to help you file for things. There are people to point you in the right direction. And these people care and they don't judge you, and they're everywhere. Like I'm just talking about Montgomery County alone. There are so many resources for veterans to reach out and get help, be it therapy, addiction, and don't feel bad about addiction either, because every veteran's addicted to something, every single one of us. So just reach out, get the help, get people to talk to you, meet some new friends, surround yourself with people who are like you, who have had the same experiences, who think the same way. Reach out to your local church, even if you're not a Christian or whatever. Reach out to a church because they have resources and they want to help you. They love talking to people who aren't Christians. You know, don't be afraid to go into a church. Get involved in your community. Volunteer at places. If you're bored, if you're at home, unemployed, and disabled, get a hobby, get a volunteer career together. Start giving back to other people, and it'll make you feel better about yourself as well. And just start doing the work. Start small. And there's a lot of resources out there. I've said it a million times, and we just don't feel that when we're coming back from the military.
I think Montgomery County, Texas has some of the best resources for us, whether you go to a VSO or Camp Hope, Sunny Creek Ranch. And, this is how we feel. Camp Hope is great. Sunny Creek Ranch, I've actually personally dealt with them, and they've been nothing but kind, even outside the getting services aspect, just working with them and partnering with them to do stuff like advertisement for them and a marketing campaign. These places are ran by some really awesome people that all you really got to do is just take a couple of minutes to sit down, talk to them, and understand what they're offering, what they're doing, and how they can help you. And like you said, a lot of people, it's getting that first step through the door, crossing over that threshold, getting in there, finding out what can be done for you and what resources are available for you.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest thing for veterans is fear. We're afraid to reach out. Our pride is too strong.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to show weakness. But we all have a weakness, and we all know that each other have weaknesses, right? So you're not hiding anything. Just reach out, get the help, talk to people. Don't think that you're all alone sitting like in my case, sitting in my camper with four walls and it just sucks you in and you become like a hermit. Like, it happens to so many veterans. Just don't let it happen to you. Just go out, get the help, talk to people. If anything else, just reach out to your family, talk to your family. And if they're not receptive, screw them. There's other people out there that can help you.
I mean, even at that, there's so many Facebook groups that are dedicated to veterans, dedicated to veteran resources, dedicated to veteran support. Find a fucking friend there. Spill your heart to him if you have to. Guess what? If you don't want to see him, you never have to see him. You just got to look at his Messenger profile picture.
Right.
Some of the best connections, some of the deepest conversations I've had are with people I've never met.
Yep.
And I think that breaks a lot of the problems right there too, is that sitting down directly face to face with someone, it adds a bit of intimidation to it.
Sure.
But when you're just talking to a screen, then you can kind of let loose a little bit different. I mean, so as we both have been saying this whole time, that there's so many resources out there that no soldier's left behind, regardless of what branch you served or whether you deployed or not. There's always resources. You just got to either look hard enough or know someone that can point you in the right direction.
Yeah, and you're normal. Whatever you're going through out there, whoever's watching this, you're normal.
Yes.
You don't have a disability, so to say, post-traumatic stress disorder. It's not a disorder. It's just our brains are wired differently.
It's experience.
It's experience, right? And you've seen things most people haven't, and you don't fit in with other people, and that's perfectly normal, right? And even like, it's a touchy subject, but I talk about it a lot. Veteran suicide. I've seen license plates all day long, 22 a day, right?
Sorry.
That's true. It's like 18 to 30 veterans every day kill themselves.
Yeah, I think right now it's 17, but even at that,
it's one of the highest ratings of any subgroup of people in the country is veterans. And there has to be a reason for it. And I think it's just because we're too prideful and we feel like we don't want to show our weaknesses, right? It's our biggest strength. It's also our biggest weakness. Okay. And there's even a nationwide phone number, 988. You call that number, but before you pull the trigger, before you take that bottle of pills, dial 988. What's it going to hurt, right? You're going to kill yourself anyway. 988, make the phone call, tell them how you feel. You would be amazed at what they can do.
I mean, and what's the worst thing that's going to happen if you talk to someone? Yeah. If your mind's already set, your mind's set, but talking to that one person might just mean that difference. I mean, I think a lot more people have been there than are willing to admit. I mean, I've been at that point. I've been right at that thin line.
Me too.
My son's the reason I'm alive.
Mine too.
He's the one that kept me going, and I can't let him not be raised without a father. Like you said, boys need their fathers. You got to have a father in your life. But No, I've come to the point to where I don't think there's anything that's going to make me go out of this world with my own hands. Someone's going to have to drag me out of this world.
That's awesome, man. I love to hear that. I want to hear every veteran say it. I want people to just know that I don't care what kind of veteran you are. I don't care what you did wrong. We don't want you to die. We want you to thrive, get a career, find yourself a woman or a husband, a man, wife, or whatever. Just be happy. Life is too short to be stressed out about this, you know. And a lot of times, I look back at the hard times of my life, or I look back at times where I thought it was the worst time of my life. I look back at those times now as, oh, those were the good old days.
It was almost like a joke.
Yeah,
yeah.
So it's like, even when I'm going through my hardest shit and I have my darkest days, which I still have, I know there's people out there who love me and people who will help me. And I know someday I'm going to look back at this time and say, those were the good old days.
I hope so.
So thank you for doing this, man. This is awesome. And I'll be sending some more people to come and talk to you.
No, I appreciate it. And I truly appreciate you being on here, being our second guest, and give me the opportunity to progress this organization, because this organization's nothing without the veterans, first responders, family members, and supporters. Without people like you in that chair, I ain't got a job. And that's what all this is built for, is for people like you to sit there and talk.
It's awesome, man. And it's a social media world. And without guys like you, people wouldn't be talking about this. So to you and to everyone else who does stuff like this, thank you very much. Let's talk to as many veterans as we can. Let's get their stories, and let's get their ideas on how we can better our lives.
Because unless we record their stories, they die.
Happy veterans, happy life.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Mr. Taylor, I greatly appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your patience, even with the technical difficulties. It does mean a lot that you're on here.
I'm glad you worked it out on me instead of some senator or something.
Oh, they had to get over it. We don't give the VIP treatment here to everybody.
That's good. That's good to hear.
But on that note, I appreciate it. As I've said before, you are always welcome back on the podcast. I want to hear updates. I want to hear progression. I want to hear you mentoring people out of Veterans Court. I want to hear you, being the better you. And I think there's no better place to do it than this.
I'll be happy to come back anytime, man.
Sounds great, man.
Thank you.
There's a box on the wall with ribbons and brass, a lifetime measured in moments that pass, a shadow box frame and a folded flag, proof of a war that still drags. The house is quiet, the night sits still, but silence never means it will. A young man left with a contract signed, boots too clean and a steady mind.